I think it was not like several years after I joined True Family Member. And then Hyungjunim, he had some kind of workshop in UTS. It's a Unification Theology School. And then there was a big crowd, and then at the end of the speech, a couple of people raised their hand and asked, there was a time to ask questions. So, one sister, one Japanese sister, actually raised a hand, and then she asked Hyungjunim, you know what, we are living in the world. We have internet. Internet just launched around that time, so internet was fairly new. So we have internet now, we have a rocket ship, spaceship, and we are living in the modern world now. But how come the way we operate our church is so old-fashioned? And until when Japanese member has to sacrifice for this providence? And that was a very honest question she asked. And then that was the first time I heard something like that. And what is this? I was fairly young, and I just I was just a regular second gen. I did not know anything about this. And as we learn more and more about it, and as we dig into the reality more and more, and that was a very, very vicious cycle that exists in our church. And each one of you here, and people who are watching this, know about this. And we don't want to talk about it, and we pretend it doesn't exist, and we just lump them up as a Japanese member. If they want to do it, let them do it. It's their problem. They chose to do it. Nobody's twisting their arm to do it. And we kept silent on this issue. And when my husband, he graduated theology school, and he was thinking about, whether he should go to PhD or he should do something else. He was debating the idea. And Kukjunim at that time, he was the head of a Korean business group. And one day my husband went into Korea for some kind of big event, and he sat down with him, and then sat down with us, and he said, you know what, let's help our Japanese members. And you know what, the first thing we can do is we make a Korean church financially independent from Japan. Let's do it. You know what, let's not just keep talking about it. Let's do it. And that was very right moment for us, because we've been going to Japan for many, many times. We went there for about 40, we visited about 40 churches. And we realized that we can give them uplifting message. We can give them, we can take the picture hours with them. We can do whatever, And we did. But that's not enough. That's what we realized. If we really think they're our brothers and sisters, giving them just the uplifting message and going there and they writing clipping, that's wonderful. But that's not enough. And I still remember how happy Father was when he heard that we are starting to cook under Kukjin's leadership in Japan, that we are paying off Japanese debt. If you know anything about Japanese church, there is a church debt and there is a personal debt. And I'm sure many of you are aware of it. And Kukjin made a long-term plan to pay off the church debt first. So by the time 2012, there was a half of church debt was actually paid. And when Father was received the report, Father was so happy. And I'm so proud to say, the Korean congregation, we worked together to make a Korean church financially free from Japanese church. And I'm very proud of those, our Korean brothers and sisters. And now, we are standing right here, and we know everything, all the system went right back to where it used to be. And as I actually think about this, I could not stop crying. It was almost like a spirit that sacrificed our Japanese member. Almost like a pouring over me. It was just like, I couldn't stop myself crying. Yes. We can justify, however, oh, their mother's nation, they're supposed to, lead all the family. Oh, come on. What kind of a father nation? What kind of a children nation? What kind of first son nation? What kind of daughter nation? Who actually demand 40 years plus sacrifice to their family? What kind of family is this? What kind of body of Christ is this? When the other body of Christ suffers, it's supposed to be my suffering, my pain.
Yes.
That was our Father taught us. So at this point, what we can do is think about it. To Father that declared the age of liberation, and we have to free our Japanese brothers and sisters. They are human beings too. I remember every single family we visited, the family visited in Japan. What we can do is we can pray for them. If you know anybody, Japanese brothers' family in Japan, you can make a list and pray for them and for their liberation too, brothers and sisters. Father taught us better, and Father those brothers and sisters are His children too. I personally think donation is important, because donation is how through all this donation churches operate. And I tell my children that when you grow up, no matter what, you have to go to church and you have to do tithing. Those two, no matter what, that's something you have to do. I teach them. But when it becomes to the point abusive and exploitive, then that's not right. And we as a body of Christ all together, and donation is important. So you know what? Our Japanese member did a heroic action. And during the time of indemnity, they did a heroic action. They were victorious. I don't want to diminish any of their effort and sacrifice.
Yes.
And I want you to know that too. That was not in vain. There was a beautiful act. There was act of faith. And I'm grateful. Every single one of our Japanese people. And we always should put our heart together and glorify them and say thank you to them. And you know what? Then Father will be happy in heaven that His sons and daughters are well taken care of by His brothers and sisters.
Japanese members, you are free. You are liberated. Liberation